Hi and welcome to the Arsenal Circle. Here to talk to you today about whether Liverpool will miss out on top four this season. I know it's crazy to be saying this, and I think this is the time to be discussing this question. Do we think it's going to happen? Maybe a couple of weeks ago was too early, but we really have to look at what's in front of us. I mean, yes, they were a better team in this match, as you can see from the stats here, but the point is they lost, and they keep losing matches they're dominated. And to be a good team, you have to win matches that you lose on paper, right? That you lose, not on paper, sorry. That you don't dominate the game in, right? You have to win the matches where you don't dominate the game, and they haven't, especially at Anfield. This is Van Dijk's first loss at Anfield ever. That streak has been broken by Leeds United. You know, you'd think it'd be a City or something like that, but no, Leeds United have done it to him. But yeah, you can say it's a last-minute winner, blah blah blah, luck. But it's happened too many times for Liverpool. They've lost too many games that they shouldn't lose. And another thing we have to look at is that Klopp's curse, right? It's his 7th season with Liverpool, and you know what that means. You know, every single time he's had a 7th season, he has stunk up the gaff, and this is no different so far. You know, Liverpool are now closer to relegation than they are the top 4 in terms of points. In terms of the table, they are 9th, but 16 points from 12 games, which is a possible... I've gone retarded. We're going to move on. No, that's why. 36. I was trying to multiply it by 4 for some reason. But yeah, you get 3 points from a win. Out of a possible 36 points. My apologies. They have got 16. They've dropped 20 points so far this season. That is incredible. Liverpool, who should be challenging for the title, have dropped 20 points. Which is quite embarrassing to me. I think... You know, it's not great. I think the turning point for their season has to be the World Cup. If they cannot bring it back after the World Cup, they really could be in a bad position. But what do I think? Well, if you take a look at this Leeds game where they lost 2-1, they put out a very strong 11. There's no reason to lose this, and they've lost it, right? I don't think they'll get top 4, and that is one of the reasons. They're putting out their strongest 11 that they have been putting out, and they're not getting the results. I know it seems very obvious. Oh, they're not winning, so they won't get top 4. But that's true. That's true in football, especially right now. They're putting out a very strong team. This is a very strong team. Anyone would take this team. Any football club would take, many players from this team. But they're not winning games. Why is that? Well, I don't really know why, to be honest, because they do dominate games. But I think they didn't have a great start to the season, and the motivation has started to drop off. And, you know, players like Trent are losing confidence because they're being mocked on social media. Similar thing with Salah. He isn't performing as much. I mean, he did get a goal today, but, you know, it's a similar thing. I think Van Dijk as well. Robertson hasn't been up to his usual standard. Their defence has dropped off heavily, and I've noticed that. And their attack is definitely missing Sadio Mane to balance it out. But is Mane the main reason? Of course not. He's just he's a piece of the puzzle, right? But, you know, again, let's look more into this Liverpool team. They have so much depth. I wish Arsenal had depth like this, right? I wish we did. But here you can see they're 9th in the table, and with this squad, they really should be doing better. I mean, Alisson in goal, they've got heaps of depth on the bench. And this team should be getting top 4, but they won't do it, and I don't think they will. But the one thing that may save them, as I said earlier, was the World Cup. And you have to look at it like this. Salah's not going to the World Cup, which is big. Luis Diaz, I can't remember. I don't think he is. Darwin Nunez, even if these players are right, they're not going to go far in the World Cup. I did discuss this with the Arsenal video. We have to look at it like this, right? Robertson not going. The way things are going, Trent might not be going. No, I'm joking. But Konate won't be going. Joe Gomez won't be going. Although maybe, I doubt it. Matip, I don't think is going. Simicast isn't going. That's a lot of defenders there that aren't going to the World Cup. Phillips isn't going. Their defence is going to be refreshed, rejuvenated. Maybe they can get a couple clean sheets off the bounce of the World Cup. I don't know. But again, you can see a lot of these players Out of these midfielders, 2 players are making the World Cup, and that's Thiago and Fabinho. So it's not terrible. They've got a lot of players resting over the World Cup, whereas teams like City and Arsenal and maybe Chelsea and Spurs even, right? These other teams that will be challenging for top 4, Man United as well. Let's not forget about them. Although they will not finish. Maybe they'll finish top 5. I don't think they will. Yeah, I don't think they will. Spurs even. United even. Have a lot more players going to the World Cup. That is the advantage. Like, Firmino might not go to the World Cup as well, which is big. But that is the advantage that Liverpool have right now, is that a lot of players won't be going to the World Cup. And I think it's going to be crucial that they use the World Cup as a turning point for their season. And Jurgen Klopp can, re-energize the players, get them playing the football that they have been playing for the past couple seasons. And maybe push for a top 3 finish. I don't think top 2 is in the picture for Liverpool anymore. I think they lost out on the title, 5 weeks into the season. Very quickly they lost out on the title because they started off very bad. I mean, maybe not 5 weeks into the season, but you know what I mean. Maybe 7, 8 games in, you could see they weren't challenging for the title. And now 12 games in, it's time to start discussing, will they get top 4? We're almost a quarter of the way through the season, which I think is a good vantage point. A quarter of the way through the season is a good vantage point to start looking at the season as a whole, to start looking at roughly where people may finish, because that's a quarter of your games gone. When you've got an eighth of your games gone, you've only played 6 games. It's easy to say, oh, we just started bad, but 12 games, that's a lot of games. That's a dozen games. And you're closer to relegation than top 4. And if you keep the form you're going on, they're not going to make it. They just won't. And that is peak for Liverpool fans. But, they deserve it. No, I'm joking. I have nothing against Liverpool fans, except the ones I know in real life. No, but anyway, the one thing that is unique about what I've just said, though, is there is a World Cup down the middle of the season. So it is more like season split in 2 halves. The first quarter of the season does not matter as much as the rest of the season, because the first quarter will be played before the World Cup and the other 3 quarters will be played after. And it may be, you're allowed to have a bad start in the first quarter and then have a brilliant rest of the season, and that's what I'm worried about Arsenal, that we do the reverse thing. We start off really well and then the World Cup hits us and it's all over the place. Luckily, I don't think it will happen. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Liverpool. I don't think they'll make the World Cup. But, sorry, don't make them, of course they're going to, what? I don't think they'll make top 4. But the World Cup may be able to bring them into some sort of form again. Because I don't think it's just going to happen like that. I don't think Klopp has the ability of magic, unfortunately. Not the same magic that Mikel Arteta has. Yeah. But, you look at this team. Come on, these world-class players all over the pitch. But they just haven't been performing up to their usual standards, and they're getting mocked for it. I don't want to say deservedly so. No one deserves to get mocked, but rightly so, I guess, because they just haven't been performing. I've got zero Liverpool players in my FPL. When does that ever happen? No confidence in any of them. But that's the case with Liverpool. Anyway, let me know what you think about Liverpool's season, whether you think they'll come top 4 in the comment section down below, whether you think they might do even better. Like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. I do appreciate this. I'm going to try and do more broader football content because I don't just want to keep it to Arsenal. But yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.